Today we're going to talk about what assets you should use in Google Ads for your brick and mortar locations. We're going to discuss business name and logo. We're going to discuss Sitelinks and callouts, structured snippets, location assets, calls, and lastly, we'll talk about promotion assets as well. The first asset you want to take advantage of when you're looking for assets in Google Ads for your brick and mortar locations is your business name and logo. This will be put across all platforms such as display, performance max, and search campaigns. It does take a little bit of work on your end, meaning you'll have to provide Google like a tax return or something with the business name on it to verify that you do own the business. But once you get through that, it's simply adding the business name within 25 characters and then adding a logo. The logo we do suggest to be 1,000 by 1,000 pixels, mostly because primarily your logo will be shown as a square image because most of the ads will be search ads. Next, you want to take advantage of Sitelinks. This will allow you to let the people know where to go based off their search. Say, for instance, you have a search for sofas and you're running an ad for that. Well, you might want to direct people to, say, a coffee table, throw pillows, etc. It's going to allow you to direct them to other places they might not have thought of during their search. It's also going to make it very easy for them to navigate your website. And lastly, it'll take up a ton of real estate in regards to the ad itself. Usually 3 ads will show up on a mobile device before people have to scroll. But if both ads are using Sitelinks, the real estate being taken up will bring it down to 2 ads before someone has to scroll on their mobile phone. So call out assets are a way to tell people what's so great about you, in our personal opinion. So maybe you've been in business for 25 years. Perhaps you were voted Idaho's best dentist. These are just some examples to think about. Not necessarily needed for headlines, but just places that you can let people know what makes you so great. They will come up sometimes in your ads and sometimes they won't. But that's going to be true in any aspect since we now have responsive ads where a headline may or may not show. Structured snippets are a way to showcase what brands you carry or what services you provide without necessarily having to use Sitelinks. You can use Sitelinks as well, but this kind of just drives home the point. Say, for instance, you sell washing machines. Maybe you want to highlight that you have Kenmore or Whirlpool or Samsung, LG, etc. You can put those into your structured snippets and let people know what brand you're carrying in case they're looking for a particular brand that your store may carry. The location asset is by far the most important of all these assets. It's going to let people know how to get to your brick and mortar store by showcasing the address and the phone number of where your location is. It's fairly easy if you have one location. You simply add the location from your Google business profile to your Google Ads account and boom, you're done. Where it gets trickier is when you have multiple locations. Say, for instance, you are putting ads out in Dallas. Well, you only want your Dallas location to show up in that Dallas campaign. You're going to want to use your business profile ID in that scenario, which is highlighted in the blog that we wrote about. Also, if maybe you have 3 locations in Dallas and you want to showcase all of them, then you want to use your store ID. And what that will do is you make the store ID the same for all 3 locations. That way, all 3 locations are available to show within the campaign. The call asset is probably the second most important thing when it comes to what assets in Google Ads should you use for your brick and mortar store. It will come in 2 different varieties. So it will always be a button that says call in your ad, which is great. It pops out and lets people know to call you right away. Now, where it gets tricky is if you have several locations. If you have several locations, you may want to steer clear of the call button simply because you want people to be able to call a specific location, in which case the call button won't work unless you use call extension in a very specific campaign. Now, calls are great for tracking purposes. That way you know someone called from Google Ads rather than, say, a billboard or something like that. Or if you're using an 800 number to cover all your locations and you're routing people through that 800 number. Those are the two best scenarios when it comes to using call assets. The promotion asset is great for promotions. You don't want to change your headlines every 2 weeks because you're running 20% this week and 15% 2 weeks from now. That's really going to screw up the algorithm, and it's never going to learn how to properly put headlines and descriptions together to really encourage people to click and come to your website. That's where the promotion comes in. You can schedule in advance to say, I want to run from the 7th through the 14th, and you can put 20% off tennis shoes or Nike Air Maxes, whatever you feel makes the most sense. We definitely suggest using the promotion asset rather than trying to put them in headlines. We hope that you found this information helpful. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out, and thanks for watching.